Hey everybody. Today we are going to continue our study of the components of the universe. You should have picked up a handout when you walked in off the roll cart, and you are going to need, if you have a highlighter, any colored pens. So if it's your color pen day and you're one of those, you're going to need that. If not, a regular pen or pencil will work, but the colors are best. So let's go ahead and get those materials out. I'm going to have the sub pause the video while you get your materials very quickly. Okay, we should be ready to go. Our learning target today is we're still learning about the components of the universe, things that make it up. Our success criteria, we're going to annotate our technical science text. Now, in English class, you do annotations when you read fiction and nonfiction. You also do annotations for figurative language whenever you do, let's see, poetry or poems in class. So today you're going to be learning how to do annotations for a technical reading piece, which is it's informative, it's nonfiction, but it can be a little overwhelming because of all the science words that you might kind of stumble because you can't pronounce them. Well, as you're reading silently, it doesn't matter if you can pronounce them. And those big technical words, I promise you the text defines and explains those words either immediately before or after it in the sentence. So we're going to practice doing that. So your success criteria today are basically reading strategies. Can you, number one, make questions from subtitles related to components of the universe? Number two, can you circle key vocabulary and underline definitions? And number three, can you underline phrases in the text that answer your subtitle questions? So we're going to do that technical reading in class. If you do not finish, yes, you are going to have homework over the weekend. So let's use our time wisely so that you do not have that homework. So let's get our pens and pencils out that you're going to use, and let's take a look at our technical reading strategies. The first thing is we're going to take and pause the video, and one person is going to volunteer, or the sub is going to call on someone to read the first two paragraphs of the handout. You'll pause the video and do that now. Okay, so we should have read these first two paragraphs here. And now we're going to make a question out of our main title. We're going to look at how do scientists study components of the universe? So I want you to add that to your paper. And then I want you to notice these bold subtopics. Here is one right here. There is another at the start of the third page and at the start of the fourth, the bottom of the fifth, and the last page. So there are 5 subtopics. So what you are going to do is you're going to annotate on the page and you are going to make questions out of those subtopics. So let's do the first together. As I do that, so you're simply going to write your question right here along the edge. You don't have to put a highlighter around it. I just helped it. So the universe encompasses all space, time, matter, and energy. So we want to not ask a wonder question. We want to ask a question, rephrase this in a question format, and you are going to write it here. So for example, you could say, how do scientists study space, time, matter, and energy in our universe? And you would write that as a question. So that focuses you as you are reading everything, you are looking for the answer to that. So I want you to go through and write that as an example. How do scientists study space, time, matter, and energy when studying the universe? Question mark. We're going to pause the video and you are going to have 5 minutes to then go through and write your subtitles, questions above every section. You do not do the reading right now. You're simply writing the subtitle questions. 5 minutes, begin. Pause the video. Now that everyone has their questions written, let's look at what we're going to do now. Here's the instructions for technical annotations. You are now going to read each of those sections, and you will underline phrases in the paragraphs that answer the questions that you created out of your subtopics. Now, a common mistake I see students make is they want to highlight everything. Not everything is a phrase. I don't want complete sentences, but you're going to underline the phrase that answers that question that you created for every subtopic. As you're reading, you're going to come across words that are in bold print or that are italics terms. Those are the ones that are kind of slanted. When you see those words, you're going to circle those words because they are important. And then you're going to look around that word in the sentence either before or after and underline that definition. Once you've underlined the definition, put an arrow back to the term so you know that that's the definition, arrow back to it. You'll also see images and graphics. Those are there to help you understand difficult things. So you're going to draw an arrow from the graphic to the paragraph where it's talking about that difficult text. So let's take a look at what that's going to look like. So as you're reading, you would be underlining and notice, oh, here's an italics word because it's slanted. So I'm going to circle it and I'm going to read the definition and then I'm going to draw an arrow back to the term. I'm going to continue reading and I'm going to underline phrases that answer my problem, my question that I have here. For my subtopic question, I'm going to continue through all of my handouts, and then when I get to the picture, I'm going to read the different things that I see that we have an expanding universe, and I'm going to arrow to the paragraph that this is explaining. You will then continue on. I see another italics term, so I'm going to underline, define, and draw my arrows. I'm going to draw my arrow from my graphic, and again, underlining phrases that answer my question that I created in my topic. When you're finished with that section, you will just continue on to where you had your next question, and you will continue through the reading. There are some bold print words, and I will tell you the bold print words are really the only ones are the ones about the galaxies. So here's an example of how you would do those definitions with the galaxies. So we are now going to have some time and you are going to silently read and annotate those. There's going to be no going to the restroom during this time of class. Everyone's going to sit and focus and read and annotate. When we get close to the end of the class, there's one final part that we need to do. After we've read everything, we're going to answer our subtopic questions with a concise answer you create from the reading. You're not going to copy something that's from the paragraph. You're going to summarize that answer. So let's take a look at what that's going to look like on your paper. After you've read each section, you're then going to have a place to answer your question that you came up with. So our first question that we had from page 1, you will answer it at the end of that particular reading section. You will have your second question that you created with all of your annotations. You will answer it in the region here. You will continue on for all 5 sections that you have read. And then when we are totally finished, this should take you to the end of class. If you don't finish, then it is going to be homework. We'll see you on Monday with everyone's annotations completed, and then we're going to break down each of these parts each day where we teach them separately in our journal. Have a good weekend.